Frequency clear. fake import on Mr. On Records, Bomb the Bass, and that's called Beat Dis. And this next one is for Readwell Man, and it's because, as I say, I hinted at the beginning of the programme, having once got home, I was then imprisoned by floodwaters, not for the first time this year, and I'm sure not for the last time either, and spent most of yesterday afternoon, actually, in my waders, although, frankly, I might as well have just gone and thrown myself into the stream because I was soaking wet and covered in mud, and I'm afraid much worse, because what I was saying about the defective cesspit was also true, but the less said about that, the better, I think, really. It's the kind of thing you just have to learn to live with, but there I was, in the stream, trying to unblock culverts and things like this, and doing rather a good job, actually. Reduced the water level around the house by about 2.5 feet, just by the simple expedient of unblocking culverts, which brings us to the broad, majestic Shannon from the number 3 LP in the country.
The last time I saw you was down at the Greeks. There was whiskey and Sunday and tears in her cheeks. He sang me a song that was pure as the breeze on a road leading up Glenavee. I sat for a while at the Crescent Dinner where young lovers would meet when the flowers were in bloom. Heard the men coming from the fire at Chiron, their hearts in Tipperary, wherever they go. Take my hand and dry your tears, babe. Take my hand, forget your fears, babe. There's no pain, there's no more sorrow. They're all gone in the years, babe. Sat for a while by the gap in the wall, found a rusty tin can and an old honey ball. When the card's been dealt and the rosary called, and a fiddle playing shanter and all. And the next time I see you, we're down at the Greeks. There'll be whiskey and Sunday and tears in our cheeks. We're stupid to laugh and it's useless to bawl by the rusty tin can and all honey balls.
The Pogues, of course, from, as I say, the number 3 LP in the nation at the moment. That's the broad, majestic Shannon. And now TV Smith's Cheap coming up shortly. And the band is TV Smith, as you might imagine, on vocals, Mick Heslin, guitar, Andy Benny on bass, and Fuzz Diniz on drums. And this is called Third Term.
There's a risk that the reins of government may bind your wrists. They may wave your freedom in your face like a fist.
TV Smith's Cheap, and that's the first one from them in session tonight, third term. Here's an oldie, Will Bradley and Ray McKinley Orchestra, Beat Me Daddy, A to the Bar.
Oh, beat me, daddy, A to the bar.
In a little honky-tonky village in Texas, there's a guy who plays the best piano by far. He can play piano any way you like it, but the kind he plays the best is A to the bar. When he jams, it's a ball. He's the daddy of them all. The people gather round when he gets on the stand. Then when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm he plays puts the cats in a trance. Nobody there bothers to dance. And when he jams with a bass and guitar, they holler, oh, beat me, daddy, A to the bar. A blink, a blank, a blink, blank, blink, blank, plunking on the keys. A riff, a rap, a riff, rap, riffing out with ease. And when he jams with a bass and guitar, they holler, oh, beat me, daddy, A to the bar.
Oh, beat him, ready, A to the bar.
That's wonderful, I think. I love the way the piano comes out of it about sort of 30 seconds from the end. Let me see if I can find that again. My favourite part of the whole record. Just one moment, please. Ah, a golden moment, dearly beloved. That's the Will Bradley and Ray McKinley Orchestra, recorded when I was but 9 months old. Beat Me Daddy, 8 to the Bar. That was in May 1940, in case you can't be bothered to work it out or even care. And I mentioned that because I had the end of last week was strange because I was up in the area where I was born and spent the first 17 years of my life, which is a village called Burton on the edge of the River Dee. And I was up there doing the second of 2 versions of Down Your Way that I've done for Radio 4. And it's odd to return to the place of your childhood and see, as it were, your footsteps gradually being erased, you know, and you find the places that you were familiar with are no longer there or have been dramatically altered and you can't recognise them. So it was a strange weekend from that point of view. And you'll be able to hear the programme in a couple of weeks' time. I shall tell you when, don't you worry about it. Now, these are the disappointments and a couple of tracks again. If you missed them last week, then you missed a treat. This is from a 7-inch EP on white vinyl with some 20 tracks on it. Not a bad one amongst them. These two are called The Woe and Trash Fever. Excellent stuff indeed from the Disappointments, who come from Muskegon in Michigan, and they sent me a copy, as per my request, of their local newspaper, dated Saturday, January the 9th, 1988, of course, the Muskegon Chronicle, and full of the usual stuff you might imagine. Stocks dive amid fears over reform plans, state's jobless rate up sharply. Says, Governor of Arizona indicted. A strange man he is, if you've read anything about him. Progressive rocker Zappa coming to Frauenthal. Whatever that is, presumably that's a place in Muskegon. But it is interesting getting these local papers. Don't worry, I'm not going to start reading you huge chunks of it and finding jokey bits and things. Older people are prime candidates to become addicted to drugs, it says. Family and Faith, page 1C. Must read that. And then all the usual incomprehensible sporting stuff and so on. But nice to have these little items. I've got them, you haven't. These are the Clouds.
I'll spend all
X-sample, that is, and so the bass goes. And before that, The Clouds and Tranquil, a current single on Subway Records. Actually, this is on Subway as well.
I never felt anything like, never even wondered about the sky. Those things I said were true. Don't explain the way I feel right now. 'Cause now something happens, something happens, something happens, something you are quite something happens. I said my butt and stand, something happens, something you are positive, cause I instantly.
Another sleeve by the Terrible Hilders, who do good work, I always think, from the Subway organisation, a compilation LP called Surfing in the Subway. Those were the Rose Hips, and Something Happened, also on the compilation. The Chesterfields, Groove Farm, Razor Cuts, Bubblegum Splash, Rodney Allen, and the Flatmates. These are the Fall, and how very pleasant it was to hear Simon play a track from this 12-inch EP earlier. Somehow these things always sound better on other people's programmes. I know that's a silly thing to say, but, I mean, they do to me. You know, it always gives me a lot of pleasure to hear them. Tough Life Boogie. Muslim Gauze, and that's from an LP called Abu Nidal, and that's called Gulf War Part 1. And before that, it was The Fall, and from the current, well, actually it's on the B-side of the 7-inch as well, but from the current 12-inch, Tough Life Boogie. And from TV Smith's Cheap again, I think we'll just call them Cheap from now on, shall we? Because I'm sure that's probably the way that TV Smith would prefer it anyway. Silicon Valley Holiday. That's Cheap and Silicon Valley Holiday, and they've got a gig on, well, they've got lots of gigs actually, but one in January the 28th, the Old Queen's Head, Stockwell in London. And then in February, they're doing one or two gigs with Anne Hrevin and the Parasites. On the 3rd of February, the Old Vic in Brighton. On the 5th, the Mermaid in Birmingham. On the 6th, Anchor, Westward Ho, it says. And on the 8th, Rock City in Leeds. On the 11th, Boardwalk, Manchester. And on the 19th, the Den in Wigan. That's TV Smith's Cheap, or Cheap as they're now known to us, with Anne Hrevin and the Parasites. These are the Pastels, my goodness.
Been so long, since I held you tight. Been so long,
especially the old ones, always bring to us a very, very clear and distinct message. And we'd like to share with you a song right now called Swing Down Chariot. I know that you'll be able to understand the words. It sounds very
There was a dead last night in a turkey shop with the sweating bodies of the latest crop. Turkey shop, turkey shop.
is in heaven, and that's what we look for. That sound is not here. The sound is in heaven, and that's what we look for.
It takes a desert juniper tree a century to grow.
Well, I'm a young God, a young flesh, running out of control.
Only you
Give me what I need back, give me back the soul. In the turkey shop, turkey shop. Alright, alright. But it's always the same, time after time, when you're running down in your pit of slime. Always the same, time after time, when you're running down in that pit of slime. In the turkey shop, the turkey shop. Alright, alright. Give me what I need. 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 I need the power. I need the power. I need the power of the turkey shop. The turkey shop. Alright. Get down to those metal blades. Throw yourself on those whirling blades in the turkey shop. In the turkey shop. Alright. 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 Young God, young flesh. Young God, young flesh. Young God, young flesh. Young God, young flesh. In the turkey shop. In the turkey shop. Alright. Alright.
Oh, isn't life a puzzle, eh? Don't you find that? Cyclic Amp, that is, from a 12-inch on Pro Plus records from last year, actually, which I missed at the time, and that's called Turkish Shop. Before that, it was the Pastels from ever so long ago, and Been So Long. And you'll be pleased to hear, and I hope impressed, that while I was battling against impossible weather conditions over the weekend, trying to get up to Edinburgh but failing, for which if you weren't listening at the beginning of the programme, apologies if you were one of the people who were going to go there, and particularly the people that I was going to meet prior to the Meadowbank match. I apologise for that, but I had no way of getting in touch with you. I hope you'll forgive me. I'm a lot of crawling and creeping in tonight's programme. That's the kind of chap I am, I'm afraid. But I listened to a great number of demo tapes, both there and as I drove back home later, and didn't hear anything, I have to confess, which really fired me very much. But I shall continue. I've got a whole bunch more to listen to as I drive home after tonight's programme. So, you know, the beat goes on. This is from Rapsky. I suppose it's F. It could possibly be Effie. I mean, it's E-double-F-E. Pronounce it as you will. And Mr. Magoo.
The Black Prince have arrived.
Well, my name is Rapsky, I'm a fresh MC. Come on, everybody, just come rock with me. Cause when I grab the microphone, man, they feel like me. Yeah, me, I'm a posse, I go get funky. Now, if it came down to an election, I'm sure to be the people's selection. Cause I'm always up to perfection. This is called a hip-hop, a reggae connection. I'm at this cause I know your people like the stuff. And your people can't get enough, so get ready for the dance all tonight. My DJ's on the car while I rock the mic. So don't stop the rock, this starter free. I wanna see you dance to the sweet reggae beat. Right on and on until the break of dawn. When this beat hits the street, it will be number one. I rock all night long, bounce and make you go dizzy. Listen up, everybody, as I start to get busy. I do this for a while and then I change the style. The rest protest cause I'm ahead by miles before the guys. All they do is smile. The reason why, cause I drive the girls wild, yeah, I'm so great. The bother call me a fake. I'm getting down with my DJ mate. He supplies the carts while I'm rocking the rhyme. It's one time I show to blow your mind, cause I'm hardcore, always giving you more. But just get your butt up on the floor. I'm at the top of the chart whenever I start rapping. In the man who's making things happen. I explode in the mic and my rhymes are full of smoke, no joke. I say you know to exercise my flow. It needs to take in my cold, cause I just won't get hard to see. All I'm here to do is make you rock. Make it rock, that's why it's like my mind's alive. And if you can't rock, you're not gonna survive. I gotta give you all of that cause my boss is cold, kicking the speed. Your finger licking like a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm not a dancer, just a rock and while I operate. It's something just to catch your breath, wait, take a break. The other brothers may stop, but I will not, even without a beat. I still rock, I'm here for business, so get with it while I rock the rhyme. Don't yourself cause I'm superb, I'm gonna blow your mind. As I get busy, you go dizzy when I rock the beat. I kick the bass in your face and knock you off the feet. This is called the hip hop and reggae collection. This is called the hip hop and reggae connection. This is called the hip hop and reggae connection. Get funky. This is called the hip hop and reggae connection. Ready for the dance of the night. Get ready for the dance of the night. Bye-bye.
That's Rapsky F. Let's settle for that, and Mr. Magoo. And that comes from the LP Known to Be Down, a compilation LP, Hip Hop Reggae Connection. And these are the very things, and this is for Suman, who was just on the bat phone, whatever it's called. This is The Conqueror.
You know, I used to drive a roller coaster.
Delivering nitro?
Yes.
Were you killed?
Uh-huh.
Everybody, I was on the USA. Genghis Khan said you played with life.
Well, what's a chap to think, eh? Those are the very things from their cheap and cheerful days, and The Conqueror. I always rather cared for the start of that, actually. The Shen did tell me once what film it came from, but I've forgotten. But I'd like to see it, actually, because... here we go, this bit.
You know, I used to drive a roller coaster.
Delivering nitro?
Yes.
Were you killed?
Uh-huh.
Very good. Here's a track from Stella's Tuache, not the same one that I played every day of last week, but a different track, but from the same LP with her band The Earthquake and with the Three Mustafas 3 rhythm section. This one's called Njuzu. I feel in my bones that people will tell me that this is culturally unsound, but I like the LP very much indeed. Stella Tuache, and that's called Njuzu, and it comes from an LP, Ambuya, which comes itself from... Oh, curses, I've forgotten the name of the record company. Well, anyway, it's... hold on, let me find it now that I've got this far. Piranha, there you go, Piranha Records or something. Anyway, it's a German, recorded in Berlin, and as far as I can tell, a German import, and a welcome one for all that. And speaking of German imports, hardly a day goes past when I don't get some feeble scratchings from someone saying, "Dear Time Lord, let's hear a few more of these German football songs." I've got one of those coming up for you shortly, from FC Nuremberg, in fact. But first, the Abs.
Baptized, I'm a super process to
Those are the Abs, and that's from a forthcoming 12-inch EP, one of 4 tracks. Same Mistake Twice is the title of that. And as I say, here's an ensemble, well, they seem to be called Maniac Power Play. I mean, that's the name of the group that have put this record together. Club Song, FCN, or FC Nuremberg, number 1, I think it is. I mean, I'm not entirely sure about this, but we'll have a go at it anyway. Perhaps I'll play you the whole thing, and perhaps I won't.
HSV und BVB, S04 und FCB, der VfL, Borussia, Werder und der FCK, die Eintracht und der VfB, Hertha 60 OFC. Jedes Team hat seine Fans, mein Herz schlägt für den FCN. Unser Club hat Tradition, 9-mal auf dem Meisterthron. Und läuft mal nix so toll, was soll's? Klopperer sind trotzdem stolz. FC Nürnberg, let's go! Manche mögen Taktik mies. Unser Club spielt offensiv. Mit Sturm und Drang und frischem Schwung. Weckt man die Begeisterung. FC Nürnberg, let's go! Der FC number 1.
Well, I'm sure you got the feel of this by now. Maniac Power Play it is, Club Song, FCN number 1, and probably of course, you being creatures of the world may be able to contradict me on this, but as far as I know, the only football record to date that employs the Bo Diddley rhythm, and there should be more of them, I think. TV Smith's Cheap Again, Luxury in Exile.
Don't feed the monster or it'll grow.
TV Smith's Cheap. I keep saying we'll just call them Cheap and then failing to do so, but Cheap is what that was anyway. And that's their first session for us, Luxury in Exile, the title of the piece. And from Royal House, Key the Pulse.
What we're gonna do right here is go back.
Well, I'm sure you feel the same as I do about the grand news from the Palace, and that seems an appropriate number. Should take our minds off our troubles during the winter. Royal House, the name of the Eight Keep, and that's Key of the Pulse. Now from the Rumbles, Long and Lonesome Road.
On a Sunday night, while driving my car in the sky upon a star, telling myself I don't go too far just by the sound of the rain. Well, I wonder where I am, 'cause there's a long
Rumbles, those are, and that comes from an LP which one or two people have written to me about, in fact, and I've approached at least one record shop to my certain knowledge about, too. The LP is called Jump to Confusion, and that was Long and Lonesome Road, and it's on AFM Records from Rochester, New York. And after Long and Lonesome Road, just plain old Lonesome Road. Not one of his very best, it has to be said, but any twangy guitar is better than none. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that. That's Dwayne Eddy and Lonesome Road. And you've probably already seen, or got even, the double EP from, Maximum Rock and Roll. I don't know what came over me. Well, I do. Maximum Rock and Roll presents 12 San Francisco Bay Area bands. Turn it around. It's a double 7-inch, as I say. The Gilman Street Project double 7-inch compilation, it says, and features, well, lots of bands that you may or may not have heard of. No use for a name. Corrupted Morals, Sweet Baby Jesus, Crimpshine, Sticky, Nasal Sex. Isocracy I was particularly interested to see because they got a fairly good write-up in a recent edition of Maximum Rock and Roll, and I've written off to them for a copy of their cassette, but haven't received a copy of it, which is fair enough. Sewer Trout, who I've read about a bit as well, and the best track on there, in fact, is a track by some people called the Yeasty Girls, which is hilariously funny. It's only 35 seconds long, but it contains a reference to parts of the body, and my goodness me, we certainly don't want that sort of thing on the radio. Oh dear me, no. So the track I'm going to play you is the Isocracy track, which is called XBHR. And I'm not quite sure what that means, but I'm sure that somebody more erudite amongst you can write in and tell me. And it starts off with a rather silly count. That's Isocracy from the 7-inch double EP from Maximum Rock and Roll, and that's called XBHR. If you do know what it means, write in and tell me, because I'm curious to know. And I've had a card, or actually a back of an envelope, to be more honest, from Bastard Kestrel to tell me that they play at Dingwalls in London on Tuesday the 2nd of February, and not Tuesday the 26th, as advertised in the week's music papers. And it says that their Core Trance EP is almost sold out, 500 copies in 2 weeks. Thanks for playing it last Monday. Dare you play it again? Well, curiously enough, I actually had it programmed to play anyway. Curious thing, that's Bastard Kestrel, one of 3 tracks on a 7-inch EP. Throat Grip is the title of it, and as I said in their letter, almost all 500 of them sold already. From Big Daddy Kane, this is Raw. This is the car, what do they call it again? The Dubapella version of it. And I have to apologise for the fact there's 1 or 2 people who pointed out, actually, in the mail that I've been going through, that it's been a week or so since I had any new rap things to play you. The reasons for this is that my usual source of supply seems to have gone on the blink temporarily, but we'll be back. Normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. Big Daddy Kane.
get raw. Here I am, R.A.W., a terrorist, here to bring trouble to phony MCs. I move on and seize, I just conquer and stomp another rapper with ease. Cause I'm at my apex and others are below, nothing but a milliliter. I'm a kilo, second to none, making MCs run, so don't try to step to me, cause I ain't the one. I believe rappers just like Tylenol, and they know it, so I don't see why you all try to front, perpetrating a stunt, when you know that I smoke you up like a blunt. I'm genuine like Gucci, raw like sushi. The stage of rage is what rap did to me, to make me want to create chaos and mayhem, cold rock a party until the AM. I'll make a muscle, grab the mic and hustle. While you stand dazed and amazed, I'll bust a little rhyme with authority, superiority, and captivate the whole crowd's majority. The rhymes I use definitely amuse, better than Dynasty or Hill Street Blues. I'm sure to score and door for more without a floor, cause I get raw. Like a reverend, rapper start severing, and in my lifetime, believe I'd never been beaten or eaten and just tooken out. You know, come to think about it, I keep MCs looking out and real nervous when I'm at your service. So give me that title, boy, you don't deserve this. I work like a slave to become a master, and when I say a rhyme, you know that it has to be perfectly fitted, cause I'm committed. The entertainer and trainer and Kane will get with it. I go and flow and grow to let you know I damage you. I'm not an amateur, but a professional, unquestionable, without doubt superb. So full of action, my name should be a verb. My voice will float on every note when I clear my throat. That's all she wrote. The minute that the cane starts to go on, believe it's gonna be smooth sailing, so on. As I put other rappers out of their misery, get them in a battle and make them more history. Ruling and schooling, MCs that I'm dueling, watch them all take a fall as I sit back cooling on my throne with the bronze microphone. God bless the child that can hold his own, cause I get raw.
Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy?
24/7 chillin', killer like a villain. The meaning of raw is ready and willing to do whatever is clever. Take a loss never, and the rhymes I bust coming off is a must, and I come off hard with rhymes that are odd. I rip the microphone and leave it scarred. Never smoking or hitting or taking a sniff. Only crushing MCs that be trying to rip. I get strong and Titanic, do work like a mechanic, make MCs panic. They all get frantic and skeptic, like a girl on a contraceptic. As I rock, but hey, what you expected? I'll get raw for you just like a warrior, rather like a samurai. And I'll be damned if I ever let a Fisher Price MC hang. The rhymes a toy, nothing but yin yang. So if we battle on the microphone, bring your own casket in tombstone, and I'ma preach your funeral. Tell me who in the world could ever come with more. I get raw.
Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy? Ain't it good, Jimmy?
24/7 chillin', killin' like a villain, ready and willing. Then I come on hard. I rip the microphone and leave it scuffed. Never smoking or taking a sniff. I get strong and Titanic, work like a mechanic. They all get frantic, like a girl on a contraceptic. What you expected? The rhyme's a toy, nothing but yin yang. Bring your own casket in tombstone, and I'ma preach your funeral. Who in the world could ever come with more? I get raw. 24/7
Stubber its style, raw, Big Daddy Kane. And I forgot to mention after I played the Cyclic Amp record a while ago that they have a gig at the upstairs of the Picket. That's at 24 Hardman Street, Liverpool 1, on January the 29th, Friday. And this comes from... Oh, I can do it again. This comes from Big Deal. Works every time. From Louisville, Kentucky, that's Big Deal, and that's one of, 7 tracks on a 7-inch EP on Self-Destruct Records, also of Louisville, Kentucky. That's called Works Every Time. And a letter here making a serious point, actually, in a slightly tongue-in-cheek fashion, from Simon Dunsworth, I think, of St John's College, Cambridge, saying, Dear Dr. Rhythm. I like that, actually. I used to have a stamp, that just said, he actually spelt rhythm wrong. Great. That'll teach him. Smart Alec. And you just noticed that. There's an H after the R. Between the R and the Y, there should be another H. Am I right? That is right, isn't it? Yes, it is. Anyway, it says, Dear Dr. Rhythm. I used to have a stamp that said, John Dr. Rhythm Peel. Gone now, of course. Anyway, it says, I think you need to seriously reevaluate your approach to pronunciation because, let's face facts, people are beginning to notice this I just ate 8 sheets of blotting paper tactic was very impressive when you only applied it to a couple of Welsh language bands, but this blanket cleft palate approach to any remotely foreign record just isn't up to the high intellectual standards we expect from Britain's #1 music brain. Well, actually, you're quite right in a sense, Simon, but the problem is, I'm faced on occasion with thinking to myself, well, actually, rather than risk the embarrassment of getting all this terribly wrong, I'll not play it. But then that doesn't seem to be really the right attitude at all. So I go ahead and play it, and I apologise for my inability to speak foreign languages. And there is, as people point out, a pronunciation unit here at the BBC to whom I could turn for guidance. But, of course, they all go home before I get in here. So I can't really turn to them either. So I apologise for all of the things that I do mispronounce. But, I mean, as long as I play the things, that's the main... Give you a kind of inkling or an indication of how it should be pronounced. That would seem to me to be about as well as I can do it, I'm afraid. From TV Smith's Cheap, this is Buried by the Machine. Fades in and fades out.
If there is a
Some of the more sensitive amongst you might imagine this to refer somehow to Liverpool's performances this season, but I think probably not. That's Cheap, the last from them, Buried by the Machine, the title of it, and from Slab from their current LP, and incidentally they'll be doing a new session for us shortly, although tomorrow night's sessions come from Ut and Tallulah Gosh. This is Gutter Busting.
Get back in your houses, get back in your houses, I will not call them homes. Get back in your houses, get back in your houses, I will not call them homes. Get back in those houses and kick down your front doors and we'll take what we'll like. Get back in your houses, stay in those houses, I will take what we'll like. Stop us, no one can stop us, they law unto our own. No one can stop us, no one can stop us, they law unto our own. No one can hate us, no one can hate us, we're just clean the streets. No one can hate us, no one can hate us, we're just clean the streets. God bless us even, God bless us even, world thanks for this. God bless us even, God bless us even, world thanks for this. God bless us evil, God bless us evil, world thanks for this. God bless us evil, God bless us evil, world thanks for this.
From the LP Dissension, that's Slab and Gutter Busting, an LP that I keep coming back to, actually. When I first did it, I thought, it's all right, but one of those ones that I take it out of the box and think, well, I've played enough from that, and then it goes back in again. Interesting, fascinating. Jonah Moyo, Debbie.
Mwana wandaida nasi wandiramba kudada kwangu newe ona nasi kwazopera ndodini Baby mwana wandaida nasi wandiramba kudada kwangu newe ona nasi kwazopera ndodini Kutata kwangu debi ona inandikusi ndiye Johnny remdi wako pandutsa moyo wako ndodini Kutata kwangu debi ona inandikusi ndiye Johnny remdi wako pandutsa moyo wako ndodini Ndapedza zvangu zvokupira moyo wose ndakakupa moyo wangu nepfungwa dzangu dzose ndodini Tebinasi ndapedza zvangu zvokupira moyo wose ndakakupa moyo wangu nepfungwa dzangu dzose ndodini tepikani wandinyadzisa tepikani wandisoresa nevanu munyika muno tepikani wandigumbura tepikani wandinyadzisa tepikani wandisoresa nevanu munyika muno ndaivimba newe ndichidada newe ndaishaina newe ndichipengesawo newe ndaivimba newe ndichidada newe ndaishaina newe ndichipengesawo newe tepikani wandigumbura tepikani wandinyadzisa tepikani wandisoresa nevanu munyika muno tepikani wandigumbura.
Jonah Moyo and his pals, and that's Debbie from the current LP, Taxi Driver. And we started the programme with something from Australia, and I'm not going to end it with something from Australia, but not far off. This is from a band called Mass Appeal on Waterfront Records, Fun Again. Well, what a frenzied night it's been. That's Mass Appeal from Australia. Fun Again is the title of it. A dull night on the Smithy phone, I must say. Either people being hilariously funny or hanging up when I answer the phone. Life's like that, though, isn't it? Do you find that? Right, do you want me to put my pullover back on again?
Oh, yes.
This is your Renegade Soundwave and the end of tonight's programme as well, in which you heard a session from TV Smith's Cheap. Tomorrow night, Tallulah Gosh and that, and more intriguing records. Coming up shortly, the Midnight News Summary. Thanks very much for listening. Good night.
Radio 2.
The news at midnight. This is John Marsh. Mrs. Thatcher says the government is reviewing all aspects of the health service. 6 people, including a young girl, have been injured in a terrorist attack on a security patrol in West Belfast. Shell is withdrawing a brand of its petrol. The Duke and Duchess of York are expecting a baby. The Prime Minister has confirmed that the government is conducting its own wide-ranging review of the way the National Health Service is financed. In an interview on the BBC television programme Panorama, she also defended the government's position on taxation, defence and national security. Here's our political correspondent, Peter Hill.
A Royal Commission on Health might take far too long, said the Prime Minister, up to 3 years. So government ministers and officials were themselves looking carefully at why the health service, even with increased resources, was not giving people what they wanted or expected. That review would look at such things as private medicine and tax relief on health insurance. It was, she said, their bounden duty to consider them. On taxation, Mrs. Thatcher said she hoped to continue to reduce the standard rate of income tax, but people should temper their expectations. The government would continue to be cautious.
The Attorney-General, Sir Patrick Mayhew, has announced in the Commons that no police officers are to be prosecuted in Northern Ireland following investigations into allegations of a shoot-to-kill